Yo, what's up everyone? My name is Andrew Warren, and in today's video, of course, we're going to be talking about the stock market, the recent moves that it made, and of course, my predictions for the future, and a breakdown of my gains and losses for today. So as always, if you do enjoy these videos and you appreciate these types of videos, please make sure to smash that like button, drop a like on the video. It really does help me out, and of course, I really do appreciate it because it helps me get recommended with the YouTube algorithm. And you all have definitely been doing that a lot lately because we are already at 4,000 subscribers. We hit it much faster than I thought we would. I think at one point I was getting like 400 to 500 subscribers a day. So much love to everybody that is new here. I appreciate everybody that decided to click that button. And by the way, if you are new, if this is your first video, maybe this is your second or third video, but you just haven't clicked that button yet, feel free to subscribe because of course I do videos like this all the time. And then of course I do other videos as well where I talk about recent purchases, specific stock analyses, and of course top 5 videos and top stock videos, which I plan on doing more in the future. So feel free to subscribe because 85% of my watch time is actually from non-subscribers. So, you know, if you feel like you'd be interested in this channel in the future, then definitely feel free to hit that button. But anyways, back onto the stock market and discussing what happened today. As you can see, if we look at the general stock market trend, I like to use VOO as a good comparison because it pretty much matches up what the S&P 500 is doing. You know, you have like the Dow, NASDAQ, S&P 500. This ETF right here pretty much mirrors the S&P 500. So it kind of represents the general stock market trend. So as you can see, we had a solid day today, and that was actually kind of a surprise to me because yesterday was a very big rough day. I think even this stock alone, this ETF alone, was over 5% in the red, and that's a huge crash. That does not happen very often, and I think the most recent time that has happened was when we had the stock market crash back in March, and those few days of crashes that we had were near record setting. So yesterday definitely wasn't anything to scoff at and not to take serious because that was a big movement downwards. It takes a lot of time to go up 5% in a specific stock, and especially when it's a stock like VOO. I mean, if you look at the past year on VOO, yes, it says 5.45%, but generally if you look near the peak right here, about 10%, right in here is about what you can expect within a year's worth of VOO. So when you put that into perspective, if VOO grows on average about 10% per year, when the stock drops 5%, that's a huge move down for this stock specifically. So yesterday was definitely a big deal, but today, surprisingly and thankfully as well, of course, we had a green day. And to just break down of, you know, some logic that I think was being used in the market with today's moves. Obviously, lately there have been a lot of people on the sidelines that would love to invest, but they simply just choose not to because they think everything is so overvalued right now. And as we continue to see stocks go higher and higher and higher in value, there's a lot of people out there that are just expecting any moment for the stock market to crash because in their perspective, every single one of these stocks in the stock market are overvalued, or at least a lot of them are. So with a day like yesterday, of course, you know, we had the minus 5% on this stock specifically, and pretty much most of the other stocks in the stock market as well, at least like 5% or more in losses for the majority of them. So to think about this logic and try to predict as to why the stock market was green today, you kind of have to put yourself in the perspective of those individuals that weren't buying stocks previously, but they finally saw an opportunity yesterday to finally get in. And those people that did decide to buy in the midst of panic were those that thought it was an opportunity to purchase because maybe they're a little bit bullish on the future of the stock market. And then of course also it may have just been a good price that they wanted to enter in at, because as we know, with the Fed pumping a lot of money into the market right now, it's really hard to be bearish even though the outlook seems bearish when the Fed pretty much tells you they're going to do anything that it takes to keep these markets up and to keep these economies going well. Then that's basically like the teacher giving you answers to some of the questions on a test. And as we know, there's been the common meme on r/Wall Street Bets on Reddit saying don't fight the Fed, and honestly so far that statement has been pretty true. And especially for options people out here as well, this is definitely a weird situation where yes, the economy does look bad right now and it seems like there is an impending crash. That seems like what the logical thing is, but also with the Fed pumping a lot of money into the stock market, it's kind of difficult to have the confidence to say, okay, I'm going to put puts on this stock, or okay, I'm going to buy calls on this stock, because you really don't know which way it could go, because it's equally possible for the stock market to go either way at this point, because you have information that supports the the argument that the stock market will crash, and then you also have information supporting the idea that the stock market won't crash. So yesterday, in basic terms, what I think happened was, I think there was a lot of people that missed out on this stock market recovery that we see right here. A lot of people thought it would be going much farther down in terms of the bottom right here on March 23rd. So I would say that a lot of people that missed out on this bottom were definitely kicking themselves, especially on the way up. So with the most recent drop that we got yesterday, I think people finally took advantage of that and didn't want to make the same mistake of trying to time the market too much and missing out on buying a stock on sale at the bottom. So I think what happened was a lot of investors didn't want to make the same mistake they made with this crash right here by waiting until after it recovered to start wanting to invest once again, because as we know, a lot of people really did miss the bottom right here. When it was at this bottom, I remember posting videos talking about how it was such a good deal for so many stocks in the stock market, and there were still people telling me in the comments section that this is going to be like the 1929 Great Depression and that we should sell everything and all of this stuff. But I knew that as a long-term investor, I simply knew that even if it did go farther than this bottom right here, regardless of all of that nonsense, I was still getting stocks at a price that they had not been at until like a year previously. So I knew that I was getting a good deal regardless, and I'm okay with buying a stock and it going down even more the next day because I know regardless, I still got a good deal. So basically, a lot of people, I think, with today being positive for VOO and a lot of other stocks, I think a lot of people have been kicking themselves for missing out on this stock market recovery. So with a significant drop like yesterday, it does present itself an opportunity to have stocks at a cheaper price and at a more reasonable price. So I think a lot of people decided to finally jump in on that. And given all of that information and that thought process, if we're going along with that being one of the main reasons why the stock market is positive today, then in my opinion, that means people are pretty confident in the future of the stock market. If they're willing to buy off of a dip like yesterday and then turn today into a positive day because of so many people purchasing stocks, then I think that means that a lot of investors right now do have a pretty positive outlook on the stock market for the future. Because in my opinion, if this was really going to be bad, today would have been -4, -5% as well for VOO and a lot of the other stocks out there. So with today being positive, it tells me that a lot of people knew to scoop in and take advantage of the cheap price yesterday. And it seems that more people bought than sold today. So in total, that's some good news for us in terms of just the general stock market and of course the outlook that people have on the future of the stock market. So I think today is some pretty good news for investors, and it's definitely some comforting news in my opinion. However, that doesn't mean that things can't go south upcoming in the next few days or so, or upcoming in the next few weeks or so, especially with the idea of a second wave happening as well. That's something a lot of people have been worried about recently, but in my personal opinion, yes, the Rona is a terrible thing, but I think at this point, a lot of investors realize that the Fed is pumping so much money into the market that it could cause hyperinflation in the future, meaning that the dollar we have now will be worth significantly less within the next year or so. So as I said, I think hyperinflation is a much bigger issue than it was previously because of the Fed putting so much money into the market. And with that, the only way you can really make your dollar worth a lot more is to put it into stocks. And although prices may seem unreasonable right now for many stocks out there, I think what is really being factored into this is not only just the stock price and the value behind that stock, but also the fact that no one has anywhere to park their money right now that will make it outgrow inflation, considering that inflation is going to be significant upcoming. So with that, I think people are putting money into stocks because it's the only way that you can really counter inflation. There's no other way, in my opinion, that you can really beat inflation consistently like you can with investing in high quality long-term stocks. Anyways, I just wanted to share a little bit of my explanation as to why I think the stock market was positive today. Of course, with my portfolio, it's not too great. It's not, today wasn't a good day. I mean, for Microsoft and Apple it was, but Tesla did have a rough day at about -4.23%. So it really did hold down the rest of my portfolio, but that's okay. I'm completely okay with that. I understand that is a risk when you only hold 3 main stocks, but the good thing is when Microsoft and Tesla are usually positive for me, my portfolio is positive, and a lot of the times you can have something where, Tesla is up like 7% and these other two may be negative like Microsoft and Apple, but Tesla can hold down the rest of the portfolio and keep it positive, and the same thing can happen with Microsoft as well. So obviously there is a risk of of, some of my other stocks doing very well, whereas one may do bad and ruin that day's portfolio growth and earnings. But it also goes the other way as well, to where one or two stocks could really keep your portfolio above the water and in the green too. So it goes both ways, and it can be a good thing sometimes, and of course it can also be a bad thing like with today, but I'm completely okay with that because I understand the potential for growth in the future when you do concentrate a lot of your wealth on a small number of stocks. But anyways, just to go ahead and jump into the numbers for today, first off, we have Microsoft. As you can see, we gained about 0.88% in Microsoft today, which is about $316, and in total, we are at plus 9.69%, which is about $3,221. So that's pretty solid. That's a good day for Microsoft. That's usually what I would expect on a green day out of Microsoft. It's never really too crazy, but Microsoft has always been a great consistent grower, and a lot of the times that comes from just small growth on a lot of days. And then next up, we have Tesla stock. This one is down significantly today. It's down 4.29%, minus $1,420 pretty much. And we are plus 11.02%, or plus $3,143 overall for the total return. So I'm still completely happy with Tesla. I think this is just one of those temporary moments of volatility, and that investors really shouldn't be stressing over this too much. It's kind of natural with Tesla. Tesla has a lot of volatility, but with that comes also some amazing growth days as well. So I'm not worried about that whatsoever. Like I said, it's all a long-term game for me, especially for all three of these stocks. And then, of course, finally, we have Apple stock, which is at plus 0.74% for today, which is a clean plus $105. So I'm very happy about that. Decent gains. And then, of course, plus 18.34% overall for Apple, which is about $2,200. So overall, every one of these stocks is performing well for me in terms of the total return. And of course, you're always going to have a temporary setback or a road bump that really doesn't matter in the long term, because in the long term, that's when the stock really grows and you have a lot of compound interest going over everything. So overall, I'm still happy with my portfolio. My mindset has not changed whatsoever, but I just wanted to share this little portfolio update and explain why I thought we had a green day today. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure to smash that like button. And of course, if you would like to begin investing, feel free to use my referral links down in the description below. If you sign up with those links, then we'll both get some free stocks. But anyways, I hope y'all enjoyed this video, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your week. Stay safe out there.